Welcome, everyone, to the Inclusion Podcast. I'm Dr. Julie Costin.
And I'm Dr. Christy Preddy-Franzak. We're so glad you're here as we explore all things inclusion.
So whether you're a school leader, an educator, a parent, or simply passionate about inclusion, this podcast is for you.
In each episode, we go beyond the usual conversations, diving into what truly makes inclusive education work.
Together, let's make a difference, one conversation at a time. Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to a special episode of the Inclusion Podcast called 3 Mindset Shifts to Lead Inclusive Change. And why I love it is because there's a free gift inside and an invitation to something that is much bigger and much cooler than our usual podcast single-handed resources.
I don't know. Is anything better than our usual resources and downloads?
That's a really good point. You know, those are amazing, but this is going to be us sharing with you 3 ways to think about mindset shifts that will help lead inclusive change, and then an invitation to a webinar. And so let's say you're just like, what webinar? What is it? We could start there, Christy, so people can know what we're inviting people to.
Sure. And you can just do that and then come back to this episode to get 3 more tips for shifting mindsets.
Yeah.
But the interactive free, I guess, I don't know if we said free. I was listening, but I wasn't.
It's okay.
Strategies every administrator needs for inclusive education. So it's short, it's practical. You're going to learn how to address resistance, talk about least restrictive environment, things like that. Just go to theinclusionworkshop.com. So if you just go to theinclusionworkshop, all one word, .com, you can register for this free workshop, which we'll tell you a little bit more about. And we do talk about mindsets in that one as well. So these kind of go together. But our idea is between the workshop and this episode, how can we get you well on your way to creating a more inclusive school?
Yes. So these are 3 powerful mindset shifts to keep in mind if you want to lead real, sustainable, inclusive change. And so you already know about the interactive web workshop that you can go check out. So jump there if you want. And if not, dive right in, because we're going to start with something that we've never said out loud before. And I'm kind of jazzed to talk about it, which is called the problem with buy-in.
Yeah, I was going to say there's problems with all kinds of words, even mindset. But let's start with just when people think we're trying to be more inclusive, but I need more buy-in. I don't have enough buy-in. How do I get my staff to buy in?
Oh my gosh, it's the number one thing that administrators say is we don't have enough buy-in. And what Christy and I are newly thinking is, what if you stopped trying to get buy-in and started building understanding and ownership? So when we think about inclusion as something extra or something that you must be convinced of, we've already lost the concept of inclusion in general. It is not a preference. It is a right. And our job isn't to sell it, right? It's not like we're a used car salesman being like, come on, let's create inclusion. It's going to be great. Kids will do better. You'll do better. It's fun, right? All those kinds of things. I actually often feel like I'm trying to create buy-in, but instead, it's really to help support people in understanding why it matters and how to do it well. And when people understand and have ownership over inclusion, they will naturally be more inclined to do the thing that's actually their job and not a preference.
Yeah, and I think I can hear eyes rolling.
Oh, no.
I don't know how you hear eyes rolling, but
Oh, no, don't roll them.
don't roll them. But I think the next question is logically, how do I get shared ownership? How do I help people understand why this matters? And so in the workshop that we're doing, a lot of those strategies about the how, like how to address resistance, how to clarify least restrictive environment, how to get people to use powerful classroom practices that lead to better outcomes. Cover it all. So theinclusionworkshop.com, you'll want to register, because today we're just planting the seed that we have to change our minds as administrators from trying to get buy-in to really trying to get shared ownership. But there's still going to be a how do I do it?
That's right. Okay, good. So that'll be covered in the workshop extensively. And if you're just looking for an easy at the moment kind of thing, it's really instead of saying, do we make this work? You change it to how do we make this work for every student and every teacher? So we co-create this vision together. And we'll be talking a lot in that workshop about how do you create that vision and what does it look like? Okay, so Christy, let's just say we're moving from buy-in to shared ownership. Let's say everybody's got it, they understand it. Let's talk about a second big mindset shift.
Yeah. And sometimes mindset shifts come about because it's a trap. It's a way of getting stuck. It's a way of thinking, I can't possibly go further, or I need so much more or different. So sometimes we think inclusion has to be complicated to be effective. Like, how do we change the entire schedule? And how do we change all of our staffing patterns? And how do I hire more co-teachers? That becomes like an HR issue and a union issue. And now I'm like, oh, this is too complicated.
So this mindset shift means moving from this idea that it needs to be complicated to be effective to there is so much ease and simplicity in making these powerful changes. And sometimes schools that start with the simplest shifts are the most effective. Like, I'll just give a couple examples that we've seen lately. We've seen people assign co-teachers by their strengths. So co-teachers have identified their strengths, their gifts, their talents, and now we're putting different and like strengths together on purpose. Or this other team is holding a 15-minute paraprofessional meeting every Monday, and they're doing parabites just to make sure that paraprofessionals are trained, and they're doing it in such a quick and effective and efficient way without a lot of nonsense, right? Or there's another team that's really looking to center kids' strengths in the IEP. And so what they did is they took the current IEPs they had, they took highlighters, and they looked to see what wasn't strength-based language. And now this year, they're changing all that language to be strength-based. And if I could explain the change in that school's experience and those kids' experiences, it's exponential.
And so the idea here, the second mindset shift, is to start simple with things that really move the needle. And we don't want to wait until we have a new superintendent. We don't want to wait till we have more time. We don't want to wait till we have the perfect schedule, because those things are like not coming, right? Well, maybe a new superintendent, I don't know. But what's one thing we can do right now this week to make our classrooms more inclusive? And so Julie and I give probably literally hundreds of ideas in our on-demand course called Inclusion Bites. And during the workshop, the free workshop that we're mentioning, you'll learn all about Inclusion Bites and how you can take these very simple, straightforward strategies, implement them immediately, and really start to see the needle change. So if you're interested in learning more about Inclusion Bites and what are some of the hundreds of simple ways you can move the needle, be sure to register at theinclusionworkshop.com. All right, Julie, third mindset shift.
Okay, so this is just from moving from compliance to commitment. So I'm really guilty of this because I love the requirements in IDEA. I love to think about least restrictive environment. I love to say, hey, inclusion is expected in these specific ways, and we need to be compliant with the laws. We need to be compliant with the rules. And that is only interesting or enticing to a few people, and it actually uses a lot of fear to say, let's be compliant and let's make sure we're doing things so we don't get in trouble. And bad news is compliance doesn't inspire change.
No, I think compliance for some people eases their worry about doing something different. I think for other people, they use it as a way to resist doing something different. So if we can easily, in 5 seconds, clarify, or in a memo or in an email or in a question answer document, say, yes, we're allowed. Yes, it's okay. Yes, it's approved. Yes, it's going to be all right. Then we can sit down and think about how do we inspire folks.
Yeah. So in the workshop that we are talking about, you'll see lots and lots of different ways to inspire people to become committed. So instead of saying, we have to do this, it might be, hey, we believe that every student deserves to belong, to grow, to be seen as capable. This is my belief system. This is what I am excited to create a school where this happens. And you'll be amazed how quickly your culture can shift when that becomes that guiding principle in your school system.
Yeah. So if you're like, wow, I'd like to explore these mindset shifts, I'd like to get some practical strategies. I'm an administrator, I'm a director, I'm a coordinator, I'm doing professional development and really trying to lead this change. Join us for our interactive workshop. It's free. It's called Strategies Every Administrator Needs for Inclusive Education. You can register at theinclusionworkshop.com. It's short, it's practical. Julie, why don't you just hit a couple highlights or remind them a couple highlights of what we'll cover and where to register and if they get the recording.
Okay. So it will cover how to address staff resistance, how to think about least restrictive environment, the 3 most powerful classroom practices to watch for, and you'll also see a real school's inclusion transformation story. That alone is worth the price of admission, which is actually free, but it's just so worth it. And then you're going to get exclusive access to Inclusion Bites, and you're going to also get reduced price on Inclusion Bites if you are looking for really, really good quality professional development for your entire staff. So you're going to go to theinclusionworkshop.com, sign up, find a time that works for you, and let's imagine, Christy, if you might, that you sign up for a time and then you can't make it because you're a busy administrator. Don't worry, we'll send you the recording right after. So this is really the first step that you need to take to make your school much, much more inclusive. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe and catch up on past episodes where we share valuable insights, straight talk, and practical steps to challenge outdated special education practices. You can find every episode with the show notes at inclusiveschooling.com/inclusion-podcast to build more inclusive schools together.